than 20 years that I've been in ministry, I have shared hundreds of Sunday messages and done the Advent season dozens of times now. And over the years, I developed a system to help me because, there's only so much you can say and so many ways you can say it, or it feels that way after a period of time. And so whatever message I'm preparing for, I simply ask the question, what would you love me to share, Spirit? And I just wait for those answers to come. Oftentimes, it's something I read or something that someone says that sparks an idea. Sometimes I just get those little aha moments, like it happened last week, and I know it's probably not a new statement, but peace is the absence of fear. I went, oh, yeah, that for me, it resonated. Sometimes I'm prompted to share parts of my own human journey, my spiritual journey, and then there are the ones where I notice resistance. I notice that I'm perhaps reluctant to say or share certain things because I might get judged or unworthy or stir up anger or resistance, or, I guess there's always the risk I could get fired. No, I never have crossed that line. So this is what Spirit really prompted me to share with you this morning. Well, you guys did not laugh as hard as I laughed. I know, it's a little sacrilegious, but... Oh, you can't read it. Oh, I'm so sorry. Here's what it says. It says, I ate the baby Jesus from the Christmas nativity set, and I'm not looking forward to the second coming. Okay. Laughter sometimes can be the purest form of love. And, if you didn't laugh with us, I'm going to know there's something else that tickles your fancy somewhere down on this day. Our Advent journey is really about embodying and expressing that, what we call the indwelling Christ, that divine part of us, the God part of us, whatever name that you want to give to it. And this time of preparation asks us to both deepen our faith that it's possible and to let go of our fears. And when we can do those two things, love is what rises up naturally, because it is really the natural, eternal essence of each one of us. Faith is really necessary because it allows us to look beyond appearances, which is not always easy to do, to override sort of that logical reasoning, to only react to things based on our past experiences or rely on the information the world tells us is true. Faith is really the avenue that allows us to follow our own intuitive guidance, our own connection and wisdom to that source that's within us. Faith is really that power that allows miracles to be expressed through us. And peace, as we talked about last week, comes when we are able to let go of all the fears that keep us from doing that keep us from being willing to engage with that energy of faith and guidance. And out of that, humble, because it does take humility in order to be able to be in that place where you're open and receptive and willing. Out of that, this energy of divine love is born. And love comes up naturally for us when we let go of fear. It is just removing those obstacles that have kept the fullness of who we are as divine beings from being fully expressed. That was the genius and the gift and the demonstration and the miracle of Jesus, is that he was able to let go of all of that. And what we got to witness then was what that energy of pure love looks like. Love expresses more fully when we can let go of judgment and our own insecurities and that feeling like we need to be right. And I think that for each of us, in our own unique journeys, this whole process, this whole human experience is really about being able to understand and to experience and to express that love in the fullest capacity that we can. Love, at least at the human level, is often thrilling, exhilarating, and I would venture to say the most difficult part of this journey that we walk. As soon as we love someone, whether it's a romantic love or a friend or a child or a parent, we get that beautiful feeling, that sense of belonging, that sense of oneness with another human being. Gratitude just seems to sort of overflow. The rose-colored glasses color the world. Have you ever noticed that when you're in the midst of that? Nothing bothers you. It's okay, because I am feeling this energy of love. It's great until that moment when it's not. When the love that we are depending upon or expecting or desiring from somebody else doesn't quite meet the need that we have. Perhaps they do something that triggers us. Perhaps their own fears have triggered them to not be in that moment of love. Love in this human form seems to ebb and flow. Sometimes it's flowing great, and other times it seems to dry up. We may feel, and I used to believe that I loved like my children unconditionally, and yet we don't. Because at least in this human part of us, we don't sustain that ability to keep that love flowing within ourselves. You know, one of my love languages is to give thoughtful gifts to the people that I love. I would, all year long, be kind of listening and looking out and, you know, checking things out so that they would know that I was really paying attention and I was really thinking of what would best support and delight them. And this has been many, many years ago. I would say when I got married and inherited a new daughter and son that I was really working at and being more successful as the years went on of loving them unconditionally. And there was a Christmas where I went all out, and I really was so proud of how thoughtful the gifts I had gotten for all 5 of my created family. And when it came to opening the presents, and they were teenagers at this point, my 2 inherited children, and, you know, they went through, oh yeah, thank you, and, okay, can we go to mom's? And Jessica was young then, so she was happy with whatever you know, the younger children, they're just delighted with whatever they get. And then as they were getting ready to leave, I noticed that the only thing that I had opened was a pair of pajamas and slippers that I had bought myself, that my husband had wrapped. And then I observed my stepdaughter collecting all the presents for the people that she was going to take to her mother's, and noticing that she had given everybody a present in our family except for me. We've talked about this story. This is long healed, so I'm not worried about sharing something that hasn't found a beautiful ending to it. And I lost it, and I am not a person who cries, and especially in that time in my life, I didn't cry in front of people. And I could not control myself, and I just started sobbing, was probably a good word. And then as I processed through a bunch of this, I realized that even though I thought I was giving this unconditional love, it really had conditions to it. The conditions were that they should be appropriately appreciative of the gifts that I had so thoughtfully chosen from them, and that they should want to show me that same love language as I show them with finding thoughtful gifts for me. In the end, it gave a good opening for us to talk about it, for me to talk about it with my oldest, and she would like to say most favorite daughter now. And she's in her 40s now. So we've worked our way through this. But what's interesting now is that it's come full circle. She has 2 teenagers. Her favorite thing to do now is she'll send my husband and I a text, and she goes, "Do you remember the time when I blah, 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 blah? I'm so sorry." As she is now experiencing it. And an interesting thing happened a couple months ago. So it's my oldest grandson's birthday, and of course I still do this. I just don't have the same attachment to whether or not they appreciate the thoughtfulness, but it's just part of what I do. So he had asked for a couple things, and I thought, we'll get a few gifts that he hasn't asked for to, just add a little bit more excitement to it. And I'd gotten him this T-shirt and these socks. He's a gamer, so it was something about gaming on it. And he's opening it up. He goes, "I would never wear those." And then he opens up the T-shirt and he goes, "I'm not going to wear it. Oh, well, maybe it's kind of soft. I'll wear it under my hoodie." I'm not going to wear anything that would say that on there. And his mother, and I know he got talked to after, and I laughed. So that's how far I've come in my ability I loved giving it. I gave it with love. It doesn't matter if it was received in the same vein, and he's going to have children one day, I know it. And they'll be teenagers at some point in time, too. The love that gets birthed, this kind of love that is beyond what our human love would inform us it's about, is a wellspring. I love to know this. It is unending. It is that thirst that can be quenched, that you'll never thirst again when you can learn how to tap into that indwelling, eternal love. It is the message that Jesus came to give us. This is it right here. Up until that time, the Old Testament God was a God sort of like a super parent God. Sometimes that God was really happy with us when we were doing things exactly right and saying the right things and being a good human being, and then was really angry and sometimes even vengeful when you disobeyed, when you didn't follow the rules. It was all about following the rules, and it didn't seem to take a whole lot in some cases. Even this God would test you. Even if you're doing great, well, let me just throw a few curveballs at you and see if you'll stay steadfast and faithful. But what Jesus came to say is, you got it wrong. God is love. God is not a loving person out there, but God is the very essence of love, is the energy of love, and all of creation is made out of this love stuff. Joy, compassion, affection, forgiveness, it's all a part of the very essence of who you are. I love the reminder that Reverend Tom Thorpe, and he was one of my Unity teachers, taught in a class. And this was one of those pivotal things that helped shift it within me. I finally got it. It took a long time, but it says that love has nothing to do with what we've done or not done. Loving has nothing to do with our achievements or our education or our lack of education or how we look or where we've been or what we've done. Love is simply recognizing the presence of God in all things, especially within ourselves. It is awakening to see that Christ within us and be able to see it in the people around us. It is about celebrating the presence. When we really love somebody, we love them not because of who they are, rather simply because they are. Who they are might at times delight us, and at times not so much. But either way, we can love them. This lesson of unconditional love is what brings about, that allows us to be able to experience it, and even more importantly, to express it. So as we move into a time of meditation, I'm going to invite you, in the quietness of your own mind and heart, to bring up and to experience that sense of unconditional love. And it comes when we can behold the Christ in ourselves and when we can behold the Christ in those who are on this journey with us. So as you just allow yourself to kind of relax into this moment and let go of all that has gone on up until this present time, and let go of all of the thoughts about what might be happening later in this day. And just become aware of the breath as it goes in and out of your body, the one constant. And imagine that breath is the very breath of God, the very breath of love. Every time you breathe in, you are breathing in this pure energy of love. And with every out-breath, you can let go of anything that the ego has informed you is necessary for love to be present. Just breathing that love in and letting go of everything unlike it. That wellspring of love resides in each of us. Many have said it's physically located in our heart space in the center of our chest, but it is probably our entire being that radiates that wellspring of seeing beyond what the human eyes can take in and seeing through the eyes of God. And loving beyond what our ego self would allow us to embrace. Loving beyond safety, loving beyond the familiar, loving beyond even that which feels like it is against us or wrong. So in this sacred space of love within your being, I just invite you to bring somebody into your mind's eye and see if you can't behold the Christ in them. Imagine looking directly into their eyes that are the windows to their soul and to their heart. And see their wellspring of love. And then bring somebody else in. Maybe you're feeling strong enough to bring in somebody who in the past has challenged you. And once again, imagine that you are looking directly into their eyes, into their soul, and see if you can't behold the love that is their essence. Now imagine that there is a mirror in front of you. And as you look at that reflection in the mirror, that reflection of this outer self, look deep into the eyes of that reflection, down into the heart, into the soul of your being, and behold the Christ, the light, the love that is you. And then whenever you're ready, you can begin to bring your attention back to this time and to this space. Aware once again of the sounds in the room, in your breath, in your body. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So we're here to be that love in expression. That is the Christmas call. That is the Christmas gift that we are here to bestow upon the world. And to take this love into the season wherever it may take us. You know, I had a lovely encounter at Thanksgiving when I received a text from one of my very best friends in my 20s and 30s and into some of my 40s, but we hadn't spoken in probably 15 years. And it was a group text to her family, and I knew because I still had her sister's emails in my phone, and it was just a happy Thanksgiving. I was like, well, and then so I thought about it for a while. I said, well, I'm not sure if you really meant to include me in your family text, but it was great to hear, you know, and wishing all of you a happy Thanksgiving. And she texted me back. She said, no, I meant to include you. You've always been part of our family. And it was just, and we've since talked and caught up, and it became my inspiration of who haven't I reached out to in a long time that have been an integral part of my journey, even if they aren't in this particular moment. And so it inspired me to reach out to one of my other dear friends who I haven't talked to and haven't reached out to since we moved back here. And we now have reconnected, and we're talking about a few other people that we know that, so we're going to see that maybe if we can't have a big reunion sometime in the new year. And that's my invitation to each of you is how can, it may not be reaching out to somebody, but how can you see the blessing and the light of everyone that's around your table this Christmas season? Or to give unconditional gratitude for everyone and everything. To see each thing that unfolds, whether it's something that makes you really excited and happy or something that really challenges you, to give a blessing for it, for it's part of this journey to expressing more love. I love to pay it forward or give anonymous gifts because I know my tendency to, you know, you're always, when you give someone a gift, you're like, okay, are they going to receive the gift? How are they going to receive the gift? You know, and so doing it anonymously, it frees you. You have no idea how it was received, and it's a beautiful thing. And I know, and what I think about is, how do I react when I've been gifted? It often happens in the Starbucks line, but you know, when somebody gives me out of the blue a free coffee for my morning, I don't know, it's just an amazing, joy-filled, loving feeling to know that there is that kind of kindness going on in our world. So this is our opportunity to be love and expression, to be kind, and to know that our lives are measured by our ability to love. We get confused sometimes about all the other stuff that we need to get done. But in the end, how well we loved will be the measurement of the good and the life that we had in this experience. Well, it is our opportunity now to share of our financial good with this ministry. We are grateful and we love all that comes into our stewardship, and we love it as it goes out and shares. For those of you who might not be aware, all that comes in, we give 10% back out. We support both Unity Worldwide Ministries and Unity Headquarters, but we also support the local food bank, North Tarrant Food Bank. We support Grace. We support the Awareness Project, Church on the Slab. So our intention is to definitely support those communities that are serving others in our area, and know that we do our good in addition to all that gets collected. And we collected a bunch of stuff this year as usual. So I know there are many people who are warm, who have the food that they need as a result of all that you have given. So we're grateful for that too. So let us take what we offer today and a little guitar into our hands and into our hearts as we bless it together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Father, Mother God.
Peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
as we go into this week, into this season, into this new year, we go as that full expression of love, knowing that we can never outgive love. It is that never-ending fountain. And we go as we express this love, knowing our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.